Good morning, everyone. Before I say a single word about the topic of today's presentation, take a look at what I'm wearing: a black suit. From the collar all the way down, I didn't put this on by accident. I dress like this on purpose because today I want to introduce you a character who dressed exactly the same way, a tiny, mysterious man who has hunted Guatemalan nights for the almost 300 years. His name is El Sombrerón. I chose this legend for my presentation because it's more than a ghost story parents to use to scare their children into coming home before dark. Underneath the mystery, El Sombrerón is really a piece of colonial history waiting a custom. And once you understand what he represents, you'll never hear a guitar playing alone in the street at the night the same way. So let me build him for you, piece by piece, the way the storytellers from Guatemala have for generations. The first thing anyone notices about El Sombrerón is this: a nervous, white brimmed, black hat, so big it nearly swallowed his face. In fact, Sombrerón simply means the man of the big hat. Some historians trace on the character back to a real incident in colonial Guatemala, when a man was punished by the Inquisitions and forced to wear an oversized hat to church every Sunday as public humiliation. The town laughed at him, and over time, legend and memory blended together. And that was ridiculous had become the trademark and supernatural figure, so storytellers described him as extremely short, barely reaching the waist of an adult, dressed entirely black, with polished boots and silver spurs. But the hat isn't what makes him dangerous. This El Sombrerón always carried a guitar or old vihuela. Guatemalan legends say he rides through empty colonial street at night for a black moles, and when he finds a young woman who characterizes his eyes, usually one with long, dark hair and large eyes, he ties his mules outside her windows and begins to sing, not once. Every night, his serenaders are said to be so beautiful, so hypnotic, and the young man falls into obsession she cannot explain even to herself. And here's the final detail that complete the look and will build a real singing buckle, catching the moonlight as his walk. And old versions of the story collection by Guatemalan folklorist Charles Lara, El Sombrerón is described almost like a small, elegant outline, polished boots, a gleaming belt, and that possible hat, a striking, theatrical figure built to be remembered. Now, here's where the legend turns from coming to dark. According to tradition, once El Sombrerón chooses a woman, she stops eating, she stops sleeping, she thinks only of the music outside her window. Some versions say he braids her hair while she sleeps or braids the main hair horse as a signature, a mark that says he was here. Familiars who believe their daughter and have fallen understand his spouse would cut off their hair. Signs that was said to break the enchantment in the city version of the story. Now has the tears of El Sombrerón. The haunting is set right in front of the cathedral in the old neighborhood of El Sagrario in Guatemala City, where the sound of mules on Cobblestone Street was said to announce his arrival. Study Guatemalan folklore point out that El Sombrerón likely emerged during a period when a man frequently proposed marriage with local women purely for economy and social advances. Some interpretation even connect his coal black mules to the mixed race, mestizo and mulatto muleteers of the colonial era, meaning the legend may have originally functions as a warning. Be careful who surrenders you in the dark, because not everything charming stranger has honest intention. In a society without modern medicine, the legends also have a people a supernatural explained for the something we would today recognize very differently: a young woman losing her appetite, withdrawing, or falling into a private obsession. And the story didn't stay in one place. Muleteers oral tradition carried El Sombrerón beyond Guatemala into Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina, where he reappears under the different name and slightly different details. always keeping his court irredentably small, dressed in black, guitar in hand, dangerous, charming. Listen underneath all of this, I think El Sombrerón endures generation after generation because he's really worn in dress up as fairy tale. Don't let flirty and beautiful music distract you from your own judgment. And what fascinates with researching this legend is how much real history is hiding inside a ghost history, colonial accessory class, gender, and control are wrapped inside a tiny man in a big black hat. Almost the 300 years, kids in Guatemala still lead nighttime through past the corners where El Sombrerón was supposedly seen. Families still telling the story every day of the dead. That's the real magic of Guatemalan folklore. It doesn't just survive, it's just fighting the new voices to tell its truth. Thank you.